Let's forge something! Hey guys, Grimnar here. Doing some forging over here. This is going to be a new type of video that I want to try doing. I really enjoy forging. To me it's a lot of fun. Just throw on some music and just start playing, really. Like, with this map, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I wanted a ring, and I wanted a lower section, a higher section in the middle, and that was about it. That's what was going through my brain as I was just playing around here. The scale, I knew I wanted to be 1v1. Other than that, that was basically it. So it's kind of fun doing that, not having a plan. And, well, not having a plan. I had a small plan, but it was barely anything. And like even here, I'm not showing it, but I was playing with a bunch of pieces, just figuring out what worked. And I love flipping these things upside down. To me, they look way better upside down. And I started with this piece, but no, we gotta go bigger than that. That's rather small. There we go, that's better. Yeah, as I said, I normally forge with music on, so I put on this pleasant little track here for your listening pleasure, other than my silky voice. I hate my voice. But if you also agree with me and you do not like my voice, I am not offended whatsoever if you would like to play some of your own music and just mute this one and continue watching. I would almost even recommend it, because your choice in music will be definitely better than my choice of music for you. So right now I'm starting to form one half of the cave, and then here's the other half, so I'm going to just pan a little bit more here for you. So you can see that I'm kind of going for like a hill, but like a cavity inside the hill as well. And now I'm spinning so you can see the opening of it. So yeah, it's got almost like that dome quality to it. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do this as artificial or man-made, but I opted for natural. I thought it would be kind of a unique element to have half of it as artificial and then half of it as natural. And throwing some plans together in my head as I'm doing this, but I kind of feel like going with almost like a Halo 3 vibe with, or even Halo CE, with the natural sort of structures mixed in with artificial. I thought that was kind of a cool thing that is very Halo-esque. And there I am walking around, you can hear the little feet going. And now we just copy the other side. I really miss that from Halo 5's Forge, is the grabbing all the items and then copy and then duplicate. Halo 5 had the best Forge, even though I really didn't like the rest of the game, to be honest. Quite after about a year. But here we are just forging the rest of the canopy. Yeah, a nice zoom in shot as I'm just kind of cleaning up the edges of the rock, making it easier to walk around on. And do I go inside? I believe I do. I believe I show you the inside here. A better picture, if you will, than from that previous shot. It's not totally done yet, but it's pretty close. So yeah, you can see in there, it's got a pretty good cavity inside there. You can even do some 1v1s in there. And this kind of gives you a scale of the size of the hill. It's pretty decent. It's a pretty big hill. It started out bigger and then I shrunk it down a bit. And now we start putting up some of the walls. And I decided to go with this nice cliff face. Again, going with that half natural sort of a thing. So going with the cliff here, and I was thinking about just generic walls sort of thing, but I want something with a bit more flair, so I picked out these windows. The first windows I chose, they had this foggy glass on it. It looked terrible. It looked all dirty and grungy. It's like, I don't want that. Here we are, there's all the windows, and then here comes the walls. There we go, now it's starting to look more like a full Halo map. Although I'm not sure about this middle piece yet. I started thinking about other cool things to make this better. I was thinking, what if there was a compartment down below where you spawn in and then you get to jump up and you're jumping into the battlefield once again after the respawn. Just trying to find the right angle. There we go. Now moving on to some of the aesthetics. This is where I kind of got the Halo 3 vibe. This is when I started playing around with this piece. Definitely an underutilized piece. It's very situational, which is kind of its problem. And then just cleaning up the edges here, I was trying to go for maybe there is something up above in that structure there. Maybe it's bigger than what we actually see, just this huge arch going across the whole map. And now I'm just tidying up the understructure so it doesn't look like I didn't care, because I do care. And then we get the central column, and I wanted something that poked up through the top but also was a pillar in the center, and then this piece just works out great for that. And doubling it up on both sides, it just works so well. I was debating about keeping this little gape in the middle there, but I decided to close it. Now starting to add some more aesthetics. I kept that same piece from the middle there that I did there, and I just started cleaning up these joints where the walls and the windows connect. I thought, again, it looks very Halo-esque, so I was pretty happy with that. Of course, what I don't show in this whole video is that this is like taking me 4 hours to complete. Nice wide shot again. I cleaned up the bottom there so it doesn't look as haphazard. Like, yeah, you'll never see it when you're playing the map, but it's one of those things that if you ever take pictures from outside or the initial loading screen, you'll see it there, and then it doesn't look right. It looks sloppy, and I don't want my maps to look sloppy. Here we are trying to do some fine detail work in Halo 2 Adversary's Forge, which it's not as precise as Halo 5. Like, I just keep going back to that Halo 5 because it was such a beautiful forge. And I always just duplicate something that's lying around and get to fit what I need. I thought about adding bushes, but I decided against it. And then trying to find the right tree here. But that doesn't give the cover that I'm after. And that definitely won't work. There we go, that's the tree I'm after. I want something tall that also gives a decent amount of coverage. And I figured, well, if I use this one, and I just do a couple of them, oh, I got a tree floating in the air. Always gotta check that. So yeah, if I do that, and then put it on the corner here and use a couple of them, then that'll give enough coverage to, it won't actually stop any bullets or anything, so it's kind of cool that it's just a sight blocker, even though you can still shoot through it. So if you knew that the guy was there, you could shoot through it and actually get him. And a top-down shot, and you can see I put a rock over on the left top corner, and now I'm putting these boxes. I want something unique in each corner that would kind of block sight. That's kind of what I was going for, and in some cases bullets, but not the trees. I find the boxes are so generic that it really behooves oneself to try and make it as unique as possible, so that's why I kind of haphazard with these boxes. I want something unique, even though boxes are just so regular and ordinary. There we go, that's a pretty shot. So you can see me floating up above. I'm just adding trees on that line. For aesthetics, of course, it doesn't actually do any gameplay. Now we're adding the lifts from the under area I was talking about before. It's always a tricky part in making a map, is getting these lifts to work right. We got working right on the first one there, but that's a problem. That is a problem. Alright, let's try and fix that. Nope, that's still a problem. We can't have that. Ah, there we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, that works for me. If it's working 4 times in a row, that's working for me. The other lift is working great. No issues there. Okay, that's a happy accident on that one. And now we get into some spawning, and great thing about 1v1 is that it's not complicated in any way. It's just put initial spawn here, put initial spawn there. Job done. And some respawn points. I think I put one in the cave. I chose this area just so it kind of breaks where they could possibly be coming from, so suddenly they're from up high. Although, of course, I'm going to put a thing there that stops you from just staying up there. Some one-way blockers, so you can't drop down into that spawn zone. You can only come out of it. Don't know why, but I always had a thing for that. I thought it was really cool jumping into the battlefield like that. It's a weakness. Go, yeah, so you can still go around and bounce on it. I'm not a huge fan of the bouncing. I wish that you could just kind of walk across it, but you know, it is what it is. And I found this cool little piece. So normally it's an EMP device that takes out any vehicle or anything like that, but it also just looks really cool. So I was playing with that. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it up top there or maybe lower it down so that the ball effect is more there, because it is really cool. And I kept going back and forth, which way do I want it, which way do I want it? But ultimately I decided on putting it up there. It's not as distracting during gameplay. It also just makes more sense to me as aesthetically wise. And I off-center it a bit because I'm going to put a weapon up there. And there's those kill volumes I was talking about. So this is the 10-second thing, like you have 10 seconds to leave the zone sort of thing. So that really stops people from just staying up here and just have a really broken position to pick off the people at the bottom. And there's that weapon. I went with a plasma pistol because I thought that's very fitting for a 1v1. It takes a bit of skill. And a carbine I threw over here by the trees. Also adding to that skill level of a 1v1. And that's the only weapons. Oh, there is also these plasma grenades. But just 2 of them. And I also put them around the corner here, so if you were to throw a grenade around, then it could get somebody that's kind of hiding there. And now I'm jumping around, making sure that the map all works. And that's a problem. Huh. That is a problem, because yeah, if you jump over here and then start hopping around, you can get outside the map. That's not good. Not to mention it would be very advantageous for a person to do so. So it almost incentivizes, so we have to stop that. It is almost funny that I didn't even realize it as I was putting these boxes around the outside edge, because of course that would happen. Of course, I gave you a higher position so you can jump outside of the map. Now I'm just trying to find the right height for these walls. I don't want them to be too tall, because then they kind of ruin the whole look that I'm after. Because it's got to be pretty at the same time, like, come on. There we go, that might be the right height. Yeah, that's stopping everything. I think we're good there. That's a pretty good height. Yeah. You know, I almost am okay with somebody grenade jumping out of it. If you can control that and manage to get on top, then go ahead, you deserve it. And I do also like this jumping into the window thing. I think that's a pretty cool feature that you can still do. But that's another problem. Alright, let's fix this one too. Let's try and spin this one around. It's a nice aesthetic again, but I'm getting tired of fixing these problems. It's always the final stages of a map, is just fixing problems. yeah, I changed my mind on that whole, if you can do it, then I'm okay with it. Because it's just so broken. Like, it will give you such an advantage if you were able to do it. So I threw up all these kill barriers, so nobody gets to break my maps. Alright, and then the fun time, the play testing. Alright, so yeah, that was interesting. Very interesting. There was a few things that, well, the map overall played very nicely. There's a cool shot. Halo 2 Anniversary is just so pretty. But there was a couple of interesting things that I noticed while we were playing that, especially with the spawn system. It had issues like this. Like, though EliteAssassin got me there, when he was flying through the air, he couldn't move at all, and I don't like that. I don't like limiting the player like that, especially off of spawn. And I thought that the double lifts would make it a little distracting, because it's like, well, which lift did he come out of? It turns out it's pretty easy to tell, because there's a directional sound, so you know it's not this one because it sounded fainter, so it must be the other one, and you could pick off where he spawned pretty easily. So now I'm doing some ramps to get around both sides. I wasn't sure about if I should keep the lift here or not. In the end, I decided to get rid of it. I find that the more options you give to the player, especially off respawn, the better the match. And then there's this cool feature that you can do where you flip this upside down and it creates a sealed hallway, ramp sort of thing, so it's not exposed up top anymore. And it works out great, actually. Now just trying to clean up this this edging here, which turned out to be a little bit trickier than I thought it would be. You need almost like a block that's 2.5 by 1, which they don't make, of course. No, that's too big. There we go, that's better. Then just seal the up top, and we're good. I'm not a huge fan of there being that little lip that protrudes down, but overall I'm still okay with it. It's not really worth fixing. And then what we do to one side, we must do to the other. It's like math class. There we go. So yeah, you can see that's nice and sealed up in here, and you get two choices of 2 paths to take. Trying to figure out what to do with that central bit was way more taxing than it should have been. In the end, I just threw this crate in there, and because the crate's on the left side there, it makes sense, and I thought it was very nice overall. I also then thought about these teleporters, and it would be a great idea to have somebody be able to come in through a teleporter off spawn. So again, gives more options. I thought that was a very good idea. And then we have to start with we have to go where that teleporter starts, so let's fix this spawn. And I started going for almost like a T shape on the ground there. So I was going to put a teleporter on both sides and the lift at the tail end of the T, and you spawn in the middle. So you get all these, you get 3 choices when you spawn in on blue side. and playtest again, this time with the improvements. Alright, well, I have been Logan Grimnar, and this was Adversary, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please comment and share around, please. Thank you very much for watching.